Transmission here on BBC Two. We're going to centre court. Pete Sampras against Roger Federer. The players walked onto court just a few moments ago. Well, a packed centre court today coming up after Sampras, of course. Tim Henman against Todd Martin. We're very happy if they've got a ticket on centre today. But Sampras, who's only been beaten once here in the last 9 years, taking on one of the new young talents, former junior champion Roger Federer. They're just about to start play there, so let's join Peter Fleming and David Mercer for this one.
Yes, if Henman against Martin is the main dish on centre court today, this is one heck of an hors d'oeuvre. An outstanding young 19-year-old Roger Federer against the 7 times champion Pete Sampras. He's won 53 of his last 54 matches at Wimbledon, just the one defeat against Richard Krajicek in the quarterfinals in 1996. The champion is 93, 94, 97, 98 and 99. Pete, who will reach the big 3-0 on the 12th of August. Hasn't won a title anywhere since Wimbledon last year. And that's reflected by the fact that his ranking has slipped now to number 6 in the entry system. That's based on the last 52 weeks, and number 22 in the race based on this year's performances. But of course 13 Grand Slams to his name. Only the French has eluded them in this extraordinary record here. He's won his last 31 matches at Wimbledon, which equals Rod Laver's winning streak. He's got a long way to go, though, to match a certain Bjorn Borg, who won 41 matches.
Thank you very much.
So Pete Sampras, no stranger to the centre court, but young Roger Federer making his first appearance here. 20 he will be on the 8th of next month. Seeded 15's first time he's been seeded in a Grand Slam. You can see ranked much higher in the race because he's had a much better year, including winning his first title, but hadn't won a match here at Wimbledon prior to this year. He has beaten Christophe Rochus of Belgium, Xavier Malisse of Belgium, and Jonas Bjorkman, a good win in straight sets over the experienced Swede in the 3rd round. And he's putting together an outstanding year, reached the quarterfinals of the French, and since then quarter-finalist in Halle, where he lost to Rafter, and semi-finalist in Zertogenbosch, where he lost to Hewitt.
First set, Roger Federer to serve.
The first meeting between them, Federer to serve.
15 love.
They look pretty nervous on that one.
Get the board, please.
That second serve getting up very high on the Sampras backhand.
14 love. Game Federer. First game.
Oh, what an impressive start by Roger Federer. A love service game, and I suppose there are some young men who are born to perform on centre stage, and he looks as if he's the hardened champion out here.
Yes, that was a very impressive start. Roger Federer perhaps tipping his hand In that first game, served 3 wide serves to the Sampras forehand.
Now that's quick.
15 love.
Very quick indeed.
Love. 30-15.
117-mile-an-hour second serve from Pete Sampras.
$40-15.
And another one right up at 130 miles an hour. So Sampras coming out and throwing down the gauntlet here.
Game Sampras. One game.
Peter, I thought the Battle of the Aces was supposed to be going on court 1.
Well, of course, that might be a rough match to watch, but these two players, great servers as well.
Love 15.
So the first actual rally of the match.
And
this we'll see many more times this match. Roger Federer with a very, very powerful forehand. A lot of confidence in that shot.
$30-15.
Oh.
40-15.
Pete Sampras really was the guy who popularized that sort of forehand volley, almost flat. Many of the players now hit those forehand volleys almost flat, even a little topspin occasionally.
$40-30.
If you're going to serve wide to Sampras' forehand, make sure it's very wide.
Game Federer. Federer is 2-1 first set. Love 15.
Well, Federer ripped that backhand pass. I don't think Pete was expecting that one.
Love 30.
Well, 128 mile an hour serve, but it came back with interest. And it's Federer who has the first opening. Love 30.
40. Fifteen, 40.
Yes, Sampras running through that forehand volley. Always best to take the ball as close to the net as possible.
$30-40.
Well, Federer would have been disappointed. That's what you look for. Second serve when you got break point. Still has one more chance.
Deuce.
Interesting that Sampras, after facing that barrage of 3 backhand returns, went to Federer's forehand on 2 of the 3 break points, both on second serves. Pete is not at all afraid to take chances on that second serve of his.
Oh, yes. Brilliantly cut off.
Wow, that backhand to Federer
Sampras.
is sweetly hit. Sampras had to pull that shot out of his bag of tricks.
Game, Sampras. Two games all. First set.
Sampras serves himself out of trouble from love 40. And already 4 aces.
$15 love. $15 all.
Well, Federer changing things up, coming in behind that second serve. He didn't look quite so comfortable doing it.
30-15.
Well, he seemed to lose a little bit of control of the racket head there. Flicked at it with the wrist.
I think he might have lost his footing just a bit in his first move toward that ball. Well, Federer
40-30.
extremely confident in this forehand, that wrong footing shot, landing within 6 inches of both lines in the corner.
Game, Federer. Federer leads 3 games to 2. First set. 15 love.
Well, Sampras is thundering down the big serves, constantly up at the 130-mile-an-hour mark, but just look how many he's getting in. That's extraordinary.
Well, this point is extremely nice. You see how close Sampras is to the net on that first volley. You think you've done well just to get the return in play, and then when he's putting away volleys like that, that must be a nightmare.
(30-15).
The slam dunk lets him down.
Yes, Pete will miss this overhead 2 or 3 times a year. It's just about his favorite shot, and one that he almost never misses.
(40-30). Game Sampras. Three games all. What's that?
Lovely setting, isn't it? Three all first set. They've been playing for 16 minutes.
(15 love). (15 all). (30-15).
Federer is determined not to be outdone in the aces count. He leads 5-4 now.
Yes, perhaps if there's one difference between these two players, it's that Federer doesn't quite get into net as quickly, nor possibly quite as comfortable as Sampras at the net. Well, this volley's sat
30-40.
just a little too much, allowing Sampras to unwind on that topspin backhand pass.
Sampras's first break point.
Deuce. Advantage Federer.
Well, that backhand volley confidently played. Both players serving very well on the big points.
Game Federer. Federer's 4 games to 3, first set. New balls, please.
The first 3 or 4 games can be nerve-wracking affairs, but neither one of them suffering that today.
15 love.
Perfect second serve, and then just whacked past. Look how deep this second serve is.
Deep, perhaps not quite as quick as some of his others. That one coming in at 104 miles an hour. Federer timing it perfectly.
$30, 15.
Yeah.
$40-30.
Well, that wide serve had an immense amount of swing on it. Not only did it land very close to the line, but it was curving away from Federer.
Game Sampras. Four games on, first set.
Well, we were promised this was going to be a scorching day, but the cloud cover is really built up. Actually, the players won't mind that because it's pretty humid. There's hardly any breeze, so therefore perfect playing conditions. Don't have to worry about the sun.
In fact, it's very humid out today, probably the most humid day we've had in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So that might play a factor if this match goes 4 or 5 sets. Federer not quite getting that half volley deep enough, and once again Sampras showing that he can go down the line with that backhand pass as well as cross court.
Ooh, my word, I'm not sure that the call was right. I think Sampras was in between.
We bring you live inside center court with John McEnroe and Chris Evert. I'm Ted Robinson. We are watching the 7-time champion Pete Sampras and Roger Federer, one of the most talented young players in the men's game, a month shy of his 20th birthday. And in the first set, it is Federer serving 4-all, 30-all. John, there are many who feel that Federer has the ability to be the guy that might topple Sampras.
He definitely has the ability. It's tough playing your idol. Whether he's ready to make that mental move up and take charge here. But they've been talking about him for a couple of years around the circuit. He's been slowly, but actually I said slowly, but actually rather swiftly working his way up the rankings.
Already a seeded player, and would have been even in the old way, the 16 seed draw. Federer has had one chance early in the set Sampras serving at 1-2, and quickly got to be love 40.
That's right.
And Sampras rarely broken on grass, and somehow he managed to pull the game out.
The usual number for Pete. Picks it up, got through that game. Federer ended 99 at 64 in the world, 29 in 2000, now 15. I don't need to remind my poor brother Patrick of what happened, where I think Federer has really started to believe in himself even more, which is the first round of Davis Cup, where he single-handedly beat the U.S. in Switzerland 3-2. That was in February. He had won his first tournament of his career the week before.
And so Federer holds for 5-4 in the first. We are live at Center Court Wimbledon. Actually, this is Court 1, where the serving battle is in progress. Goran Ivanisevic and Greg Rusetsky, they played the first set in 7 minutes and 22 seconds. And I'm only slightly exaggerating. And this is live, and we'll be checking on this match. Really, today is the tennis version. It's tennis's Midsummer Classic, John. This is like an all-star day today. Everywhere you look, the best players in the world are in action.
And it starts at 12. The outside court, Serena Williams on an outside court. Jennifer Capriati on an outside court.
Venus Williams, the defending champ, is playing on one of the outer show courts. And we'll be checking in shortly on Venus's match.
So you have all 8 round of 16 on both the men's and women's. The only thing comparable to me was the U.S. Open Super Saturday, they call it, where you have 2 men's semis and a women's final. But for the true tennis junkie, this is the day to be at a tennis facility, and this is the most beautiful one of them all.
Well, both defending champions playing right now live, and still to come today, Andre Agassi against Nicholas Kiefer, the match that the Brits are anticipating, Tim Henman and the American veteran Todd Martin.
By the way, Marat Safin has advanced to the quarters. Surprisingly dominating performance against Arnaud Clément. That's good to see him back on track, the U.S. Open champ.
Also advancing in the men's draw already, Patrick Rafter is through to the quarters, and Thomas Engqvist. That'll be a quarterfinal battle between those two.
That's a great job by Engqvist to finally show he is capable of doing something on this surface, but I must say a great draw for Rafter. Have to expect him to get to the semis. Safin awaiting the 2 big bombers, Ivanisevic, Rusetsky.
40-15.
Very similar demeanors, very similar style of play. Federer is nonplussed. He's really a veteran, Ted, of the circuit. I mean, he's really been on the circuit for close to 4 years, and he's not yet 20.
Game Sampras.
So there's the hold for Sampras, and it's 5-all now in the first set. And here's today's action so far. Capriati through easily, and she'll play Serena Williams. Kim Clijsters, a pair of tie breaks to beat Megan Shaughnessy. So Kim Clijsters, the French Open finalist, to the quarters here.
Well, that's well done for her, too, to follow up that performance. Show that that was no fluke. She's here to play. These players have never played before. And everyone around the grounds, including the players, are saying that unless Sampras picks it up, he's not going to beat Federer. He does look like a different man right now, more of a purpose, and he's definitely hitting his second serve harder.
And wouldn't you guess Pete knows that, too?
He's no fool. There is a reason he's won 7 out of 8 Wimbledons. And that is exactly what he's out to prove right now.
I love the phrase in one of the London newspapers today. Very simple, very British phrase. They said, today begins Wimbledon proper. And a player, a champion like Sampras, knows that.
I wonder if sooner, if not later, Sampras will eventually take some of those second serves. Federer seems content to stay back. Try to attack him.
So there's the hold for Federer. Sampras next will try to...
Guys that can really play.
And on the ladies' side, Petrova. Krasnodarskaya is playing today in the 16s. It seems like there's swarms. It was the Spaniards, then it was the French, now the Russians, producing players en masse.
Next, we hope the Americans get back. With Roddick, Taylor, Dent had that great match with Leighton Hewitt.
15-all.
Sampras has done that a few times to opponents. Take the pace off the serve, just guide it, just no backswing. Hit to the open court.
Sampras had a
30-15.
Sampras had a rare shock in the second round, being taken to 5 sets by Barry Cowan, a fairly anonymous player from Great Britain. It was the first time that Pete had gone to 5 sets in a match here since the '98 final against Ivanisevic. I wonder if did that chip away at his aura at all, John? Does that give the other players some hope?
I think if they see him go out on the court today and sort of, for him, throw a powder puff second serve, and I say for him, the ball was sitting up. Now, Federer will take advantage. But you see that second serve? That's not the second serve that Barry Cowan saw.
So this is serious.
That was where you drop a little sleeping pill in his glass on the change room. I think that's what Cowan did. Because, I mean, he thought for sure, I think Sampras is going to win that in at worst, the third set tiebreaker. But woke up in time when necessary early in the 5th to take charge.
Previously, that was a 113-mile-an-hour second serve. We'll see what Sampras offers up here with a point for the tiebreak.
Federer does have a tendency, too, which you saw in this game, of trying to hit too big a return. As you can see, Sampras' serve, and we've known this over the years, not easy to deal with.
6 games over first set, tiebreak.
So Pete Sampras, who has owned Wimbledon for nearly a decade now, just one loss to Richard Krajicek in 1996. And the first point on this tiebreak goes to Federer.
1-0, Federer.
Ivanisevic up a break in the second now. 7-6, 4-2. His record, believe it or not, 8-0 against Ruzetsky. Poor Goran won, or I should say lost 3 finals here. Needed a wild card to get in. This could be a rejuvenation of what was looking to be a career that was about over.
I didn't think we'd be envisioning a Sampras-Ivanisevic semifinal here.
Let for serve.
And you know, we're still hoping we don't envision it. There's guys like Safin around. Federer's going to give Sampras a tussle. There's Henman or Martin.
Henman, right.
Left for serve.
Federer listed at 6'1", just shy of 180 pounds, although I must say he looks a little bit bigger than that. And amazingly, just 1 year older than Andy Roddick, but as you alluded, much more experienced. And now the first Mini break goes to Federer.
Also the first sign of any emotion from Federer. I mean, if he can get this first set under his belt, then he'll see if Sampras is capable of keeping this up. Maybe Pete, sooner or later, you have to think Pete's not going to be as sure of himself here as he's been over the course of the last 8 years. Law of averages state that you must lose matches occasionally. Roger Federer says, hey, I've been waiting patiently. I've been on the circuit for three years now. People keep talking about me being a Grand Slam winner. Maybe it's my time.
Great return. And Sampras gets the mini break back.
3-2 Federer.
The second serve. He's got a little bit more time. Maybe next time Federer has this type of opportunity, try to make sure he gets that first serve in.
Rio.
In the first set, that's 8 aces for Sampras. Strong serving, and it's 3-all now as the players change end in this first set tiebreak. Now, 3 years ago, Roger Federer winning at what they call the boys' championship at Wimbledon. Didn't quite have the ponytail yet, but still that broad, beaming smile.
They don't put those juniors on the center court. You're out there in the boonies somewhere. Be patient, lads. You'll work your way up.
And he has.
See, now Sampras has picked it up. You can see from the first week as well as the pace. I mean, there's 130. He's coming in stronger. It is a hot, humid day. The ball, he's going to get some juice on it. You'd think the humidity would slow it down a touch, but when it's hot, it goes through the air awful fast.
And completely still.
That's the best part about here. I mean, you can hear a pin drop right now.
I mean, the players come from Roland Garros where it seems like they're constantly dealing with wind. And that's not an issue very often here, is it?
Oh. Close call there. Let's take a look at this line.
4-all.
No, couldn't see it from there.
Sampras gave it a long look.
It's like, don't you dare do that again. Now there's Federer was guilty of just getting flat-footed and not moving his feet. Looked like he was in a practice session as we look at Pete's wife, Bridget Wilson. And that could have cost him the set.
So now Sampras with the serve at 5-4. And a chance he hopes to serve this set out. Not yet, says Federer.
And that was a big second serve. This was well done by Sampras, too, to scoop it up. Makes Roger Federer hit that exquisite-looking passing shot.
5-all.
How big was that second serve?
121-mile-an-hour second serve in a tiebreak.
At 5-all. I mean, what can you say? It takes guts to even try that.
But and the thorough, utter confidence that this court brings him, right, John?
7 out of 8.
Yeah.
Cyclops is calling. It's not called by any human being. So,
well, Sampras, you don't see him react in that manner very often. He flew immediately at that serve.
As we take a replay, we hope. Here we go. Don't know if we can tell from that angle.
Sampras immediately appealed to Muhammad Leani, who's in the chair. That looks out.
We need a camera on that service line. That would give us our best bet.
Well, Cyclops is supposed to be in, and that's exactly what Leani did in the chair. Sampras said, that's way out. He immediately pointed to the machine. Said, yell at it, don't yell at me.
It's not my call. Set point now for Federer. Pounds down another bomb. Once again, gets himself out of trouble.
7-0.
He's a cool customer, though, Federer.
That's what you see here, isn't it?
He has to endure this ball clipping the tape. Sampras hits a not a good enough volley, as it turned out. Too short.
7 Federer.
And now a set point on Federer's serve. No, Sampras cannot hit the pass. And so the 19-year-old Swiss standout, Roger Federer, has taken the first set.
Love 15.
And now we bring you back inside center court, where Roger Federer took the first set from Pete Sampras in a tiebreak. Sampras now serving at 15-all.
Whoa. No wonder Sampras is having to serve harder, because this guy Federer has got loads of ability.
15-13.
This is a serve. He's looking to get out wide, but Federer cuts it off, blows it by him.
Well, you made a point, John, before the tiebreak ended that certainly seems to play here that Federer, maybe 19, doesn't look it.
He doesn't play it or look it to me. He looks older than 19.
Yeah. But he just, whereas Andy Roddick, who's a year younger, mentioned, bounces around the court kind of like a teenager. Federer's much.
That's true.
Has a more mature set about him on the court.
It'll be interesting to see how Roddick is in a year or two. How he acts on the court. Federer, by the way, is still in the doubles as well. Playing with Wayne Ferrer, so that's a rarity. A top player playing the singles and doubles. And remember the doubles here. It's the only major where doubles is also best out of 5.
We already had a doubles pullout. Leighton Hewitt and Kim Clijsters bailed on the mixed doubles.
That was too bad considering they were in the finals the year before. It's bad for the fans. It might be good for the relationship. Once again, Federer showing what he's got, which is a pretty big arsenal. He's got everything. I mean, he moves around the court pretty well. We've talked about how cool he is out there. He's got a big first serve. He can volley. He's definitely going to force. Sampras has already picked up his game. He's going to have to pick it up even more. The good news for Pete is he's capable of doing that.
I think what Pete Sampras, John, is also encountering, and this is in no way to diminish his championship last year, in essence played on one leg to win, but his draw this year far, far tougher.
Game Sampras.
Meeting one of the best young players in the world, and it's only the 16s.
Well, if you're going to win 8, come on, let's make it a little tougher.
First game, second set.
Well, for more from the championships Wimbledon, log on to wimbledon.nbcsports.com. Exclusive daily analysis by Chris and by Bud Collins, all on wimbledon.nbcsports.com.
That mixed doubles withdrawal, by the way, helped old Martina and Max Mirny out. That's who they would have played first round. Instead, I'm looking as we speak, instead they played Sprengelmeyer and Osterloh.
Lucky losers. But disappointing, and this to mention this is to be fair to the Williams sisters, because they were given
15
a hard time at the French about pulling out after the draw was done, the same thing that Hewitt and Clijsters did here.
30 love.
So should we rip them to shreds too? Clijsters, Hewitt. They all went in with the best of intentions.
40 love.
Some score. There's the Rafter score. Slow start, but came storming through. Yuzhny's going to be around. He's a good Russian player. He's 19. And there's some new guys coming.
I think you see Federer, confidence rising even more after winning that first set tiebreak. Easy service game, and now the Aflac trivia question today, the last Wimbledon boys singles champion to go on and win the men's title. Let you think about that for a while.
I've got the answer.
15 love.
Did you play in the boys here?
Am I allowed to give a hint?
It's not you, is it?
No, no. I'm not that blatant. But it has to do with the McEnroe name. Unless, of course, my guess is wrong.
30 love.
9 aces now for Sampras. All the Argentines, John, have got to log on to wimbledon.nbcsports.com to find out about Cañas, their man, because there's a newspaper strike in that entire country.
The poor guy.
Yeah, I mean, here.
Gets to the 16s at Wimbledon and no one knows about.
For an Argentine to make the 16s at Wimbledon, it's a huge achievement.
40 love.
And he's had to talk on the phone back home to tell his parents to spread the word.
Well, keep it on strike another day then, because they're not going to want to see that score.
Left for serve. game,
And
Sampras.
Sampras, an easy game himself. Ace number 10.
Wenn Sie das mögliche Ende der Partie von Anke Huber gegen Justine Henin miterleben wollen, dann sind Sie jetzt auf Wimbledon 1 richtig. Die vermeintliche Schlussphase. Achtelfinale Damen Einzel.
Fifteen all. Thirty, 15.
Zu sehen ist da zwar nichts, aber es scheint doch eine Seite gerissen zu sein. Nichts Neues, nichts Ungewöhnliches bei Pete Sampras. Und er hier eine ungewöhnlich dünne Seite spielt, fast mit einer Squash-Seite zu vergleichen.
Thirty all.
Aha.
30, 14.
Erste Breakchance, zweiter Satz. Nach dem dritten Doppelfehler des Schweizers. Genau eine Stunde gespielt.
Deuce.
Ein halben Meter zu lang.
Advantage Federer. Game Federer.
Sampras lässt den Kopf hängen. Es läuft nicht wie
Two games off. Second
gewünscht.
set.
Auch diese Breakchance, die insgesamt zweite für ihn, nicht genutzt. Schwache Returns. Tja, wie soll das weitergehen? Einladung von Federer zum Punktgewinn, nicht angenommen von Sampras.
Love 15.
Und solche Fehler, das sieht man auch selten von Pete. Unglaublich. Federer ahnt förmlich, was Sampras da vorhat. Der Angriffsball tief in die Ecke.
Love 30.
Aber technisch perfekt. Schauen Sie sich das an. Er zieht voll durch und spielt wieder durch den siebenmaligen Wimbledon-Champion hindurch. Jetzt wird's kritisch.
Fifteen, 30.
Ach, welch ein Return. Der Aufschlag von Sampras tadellos tief in die Ecke und Federer, Rückhand-Ecke, und Federer steckt den Schläger nur rein und hat 15:40 zweimal Breakchance. Nicht sauber getroffen von Federer, aber trotzdem nicht ungefährlich.
Back live on NBC at center court, where Pete Sampras is being thoroughly tested. And even there, forced to make an extra shot to win the point against Federer. Sampras has just saved 2 break points in this 2-all game second set.
Well, if you're wondering, and I doubt you are by now, how good an athlete Federer is, I think he answered that question. Sampras just sticking that racket out. Whoo! Thank you. I don't want to go down another break point. Put too much pressure on myself.
Oh, another great save. Sampras had a break point in the previous game, couldn't hold. Holds now. This spectacular day of tennis at the championships Wimbledon. And it's only, in a sense, just beginning. Andre Agassi is still to play. So is the veteran American Todd Martin. He'll be playing Tim Henman, Britain's hope. Pete Sampras and Roger Federer in battle here. The winners of those matches will meet each other in the quarters. The amazing Goran Ivanisevic story is continuing. He is now up 2 sets and a break against Greg Rusetsky. And right now the matters at hand on center court. Federer serving at 2-3.
Left second serve.
Another supposed challenger, Leighton Hewitt, has just walked on the court as well against the Frenchman Nicolas Escudé. Looking to get a shot at Agassi in the quarters. You can just, when you see Federer, you see he's got every shot in the book. I mean, he can run around his back, and why he does that, you wonder. With as good a backhand as he's got, I don't know, but to work that point.
You know, John, Andre Agassi made a statement that I thought was interesting, and that he said, you know, when I watch the matches here this year and I look at the courts are really getting worn at the baselines, and they're not getting worn at the service lines very much. And here's a player in Federer right now. He said he's staying back. He's playing.
Well, he's coming in a lot more than an Agassi comes in. I mean, Agassi's the guy that's inspired these Hewitts and et cetera, the guys that can win from the baseline. Safin, who stays in most of the time.
30-15.
But the players of today, because they feel, we forget one thing. I mean, if you got a Goran who's really got these bombs and the other big hitters, they're coming in on anything. But guys return better. That's the thing. So these guys get tentative. You need that mentality. See, there's an example. Now, will he come and serve and volley again on this next point at 30-all? You don't know.
30-all.
You have to accept the mentality that you're going to go up there, get past 30, maybe 40 times, but still win. These guys don't like that as much. They don't accept that. They say, well, I'm not even going to take the chance. I'm just going to stay back and hit winners from the baseline.
14-13.
See, that's an example where he did hit an effective first serve, but he was prepared to stay back. Now, against a guy like Sampras, if he can pick it up a notch, which so far he hasn't done, but if he can, then that could be the difference between winning and losing.
And there's the hold for Federer, so it is 3-all in the second set. In the midst of his third-round match with Sarkisian, one of the more entertaining moments.
Where'd the ball go?
The ball landed in his shorts.
What do you do if you're the ball boy?
Well, that is one of the smartest ball boys that I've ever encountered. He wanted no part of that. And Pete Sampras made some light of that in his press post-match.
La 15.
Only the baggy shorts allow that to happen.
That's right. That's why you long for the tight ones in the old days. This is really, this is including 3 wins here for Pete. That's pretty mediocre, to be honest, for him. Not a very good year so far. Oh, boy.
He's flirting with danger.
Well, he's been flirting with it. Early in the match, Federer had a love 40. Early in this set, he had a couple break points. Now a love 30.
This is the same Pete Sampras that held serve in last year's Wimbledon 85 consecutive games.
Maybe you were onto something. He lost serve twice to Barry Cowan. Yes, I repeat, Barry Cowan, a British wild card. Oh, he guessed right. But still, he guessed right, but he still had to come up with this shot. Now again, love 40 on the Sampras serve. Well, we've seen that before.
In the 4th game of this match, Sampras saved a game from love 40.
Yeah. 2 down, 3 to go to get out of this game.
30-40.
12 aces. How close did that volley come to be?
Very close, but the way Federer is playing, Sampras is saying to himself, look, I got to keep the ball deep.
Deuce.
That's another example of the variety he's got. He can hit it hard, but he can also take the air out of the ball. Use some topspin, drop it in. Another break point.
4th of this game.
Left for serve.
Well, that's a champion's volley.
Deuce.
Now 9 break points for Federer, and he's yet to win one. Another measure of a champion.
And it's true. Guess who's just got the job done on the other court?
Goran.
He's done it. He's still in the hunt.
That means Andre Agassi will be taking court 1 very shortly for his match against Nicholas Kiefer. What a game for Sampras. He saves 4 break points. And just like he's watching his beloved Lakers, the slam dunk.
Eine absolut ausgeglichene Partie.
15 love.
You think they're happy that they gave him a wild card now, that he beat up on Ruzeski?
15 all.
You wonder now, in this match, if Federer's movement's going to be effective. He looked like he's complaining about a bit of groin strain. Tightened up, and if that's the case, guess who's going to take advantage? And there, he looked a little hesitant.
15.
Treated during the last sit down. John, we talk about at the French often how a player will try to capitalize on that surface in a question of movement. How do you do it on grass? And Pete wants to try to make Federer move.
Well, at least the good news for him is Federer's not as big a hitter as even Izovic on his serve, so it's certainly easier said than done here. But one of the things is when sometimes Pete's able to roll over his returns, get it down
14,
low,
13.
and you pull back on your passing shots. You don't go for outright winners. Maybe utilize a topspin lob. I mean, you see the guy stretch out, see what he starts grimacing, those type of things. The problem is a guy, even if he's groin side, he can turn around and hit aces.
So it's now 4-all. Second set. A Rolex time at now 1 hour and 19 minutes on court.
The classic example is Goran. I mean, here's a guy who says he's got a bum shoulder. I mean, how bad can your shoulder be if you're hitting serves like that?
He had an off day today, only 22 aces, even Izovic. After literally serving Andy Roddick out of Wimbledon with 41 aces.
Love 15.
Word is that Federer has had a little bit of a lingering groin
15.
problem through his early matches here at Wimbledon. He may have felt it, the beginnings of a flare-up.
And you know what that also means? If, by some chance, he were able to win this match, Wayne Ferreira should be expecting that maybe they won't be on the doubles court. Just, he's overpowering. I mean, there's a lot of pace on that passing shot.
15, 30.
I mean, he's trying to do the same thing to Sampras, quite frankly. Just get the ball down low, force Pete to hit up. Try to dictate play with the pass. It's
The way this match is going right now is, as you see, Peter Lundgren, former tour player from Sweden, who is coach of Roger Federer. He's got a little bit of that Borg look to him, doesn't he?
Well, there was a lot actually expected in the days when he was playing. You don't want to be called Borg, too. It's a lot of expectations for Peter Lundgren, but he was in the top 30 at one point. He's been a steadying influence on
14,
Federer.
13.
He's a guy that loves to be around the game, and he keeps as if Federer, I was about to say, keeps him calm as if he needs to be. He doesn't. Looks like a pretty mellow cat, as they say, is a pretty mellow guy.
And Sampras with another game where he has to come from behind to hold. A first set tiebreak win for Roger Federer, and the players on serve, although Sampras has had to work hard to hold his serve in this set.
15 love.
Sampras with 31 consecutive match wins here at Wimbledon, and it's the second longest streak. Second to Bjorn Borg's streak of 41 that was broken by Mr. McEnroe.
15 on.
Here's a rare case where Federer didn't look like he was ready for the next ball. Sampras put a lot of juice on that, caught him by surprise. That is a very Sampras-like volley.
30-15.
What's nice about Federer is he can hit volleys 2 or 3 different ways. A more traditional style, he sort of ran through that other one, but he sensed that was the play. He's just got a court sense. It's just a natural feel of knowing what to do.
So the hold for Federer, now 5-all in the second set. On Saturday, NASCAR comes to NBC, first at 3 Eastern, a preview of the second half of the NASCAR season and the NASCAR 2001 championships. Then primetime, Saturday night, the Pepsi 400, 7:30 Eastern, all on NASCAR's new home, NBC.
Primetime. Man. That's NASCAR. That's impressive. I'm a big NASCAR fan. I love NASCAR. We're back when Cale Yarborough. I mean, when I was growing up. Richard Petty. Those guys, I'll tell you.
I didn't know Douglaston was a NASCAR hotbed.
Well, it's not a hotbed, but it is it's you got to respect those guys. And I still feel bad about Earnhardt. He was my favorite. What if you're the poor guy's son? You're out there, one of the best racers, have to go out and race the next week. It's a tough gig, huh? This makes tennis look pretty. It's a pretty good job we got here, huh?
Stakes aren't quite the same, are they?
He's going to get that. Yeah. Groin pull or no groin pull. This is a Wimbledon round of 16. He's got a chance to beat the defending champion,
15.
Pete Sampras. And this will put his name, Ted, in a whole new league just to win this one match. In case those fans hadn't seen him in the Davis Cup when he did that great job against the U.S. His improving results. Well, here's a great for him.
This set has had a pattern. Most of Federer's service games have been fairly easy. Well, one break point for Sampras. Pete's had to work most of his games. There have been 6 break points against him.
(40-30).
The actual streak of consecutive holds of serve that started last year at Wimbledon carried through into the match against Barry Cowan. It wound up being 120 consecutive games Sampras served here without being broken.
Sampras.
He's yet to be broken here. Now Federer will serve to send this set to a tiebreak. Roger Federer has already risen, despite the fact he's a month shy of his 20th birthday, into the upper echelon of the men's game. He would have been seeded here even in the 16 seed field, and here's one reason why. Second most wins on tour this year.
Well, he's been consistent. He won his first singles title. He's up there with the Kafelnikovs of this world. Played some singles and doubles, which I think is just helping his fitness, his confidence, his feel on a court. He's young enough at 19 to do it.
He debuted in the Grand Slams at the French in '99. So he's played 9 consecutive Grand Slam championships and done well with a 16-8 record.
La 15.
But now his 4th double, and Sampras looking for something. Give him a chance to get back and level this match.
Well, that was something right there. How about a little chip and charge here? Put some pressure on old Roger Federer. He's almost 20. Oh boy. 2 doubles in a row.
It's 5 total.
30.
And he stays back on his first serve. I don't get that. And he's in a big hole now. Pete with triple set point.
La 40. Out.
Ooh.
15, 40.
Just about 100% sure that ball's going to go long if you leave it down triple set point.
Well, Federer trying to do what Sampras has done twice in this match, and that's bail himself out of a love 40 game.
30, 40.
Deuce. And he does it to deuce at least.
Sampras like.
Boy, that ace sailed by and Pete's head dropped.
Well, he's flirting with danger back there. You can see he's got the shots, but
Advantage.
sooner or later,
Sampras.
you try to hit that big a ball, that big an angle. He missed it.
No, he missed the volley.
Sampras.
And very quickly, a set that had Sampras walking the high wire all the way ends up in the champion's pocket.
7 games to 5. 1 settle. New ball, please.
On an overcast and humid afternoon in London, a 4:15 in the afternoon on this spectacular tennis day. Really an all-star day of tennis. We're bringing you live coverage of the championships of Wimbledon on NBC.
3rd set.
And this round of 16 battle, and it has been a battle. First set to Federer in a tiebreak. 1 break. They give Sampras the second set. Federer left the court during this last changeover for just a few moments.
That was the problem. He was Sampras like to deuce.
15
But then that forehand volley, it's one of those you remember, like Rafter last year, Gore in his final. The list goes on and on against Pete.
But that second set, it was Sampras who was in trouble throughout the whole set, continually bailing himself out, and then, as can happen on this surface so quickly, in a matter of a minute, it fell apart for Federer.
Especially annoying that you come back from love 40, get it back to deuce, and then blow it. It's a good move by Federer. He forgot to finish it off.
13-15.
He sees Sampras off balance, in he comes. It's all mine, points mine. Simple as that? I guess not. Leighton Hewitt is underway against Nicolas Escudé. Escudé up a break early in that match. Grosjean out. Clement now out. Escudé their only hope. He's probably the best one of them all on this surface. He's a shot maker. Hewitt continuing to struggle, just not finding anything easy.
And another final that features a talented young player on the ladies' side, Justine Henin. 3 sets over Anke Huber.
Second set.
Henin, who was a semi-finalist of the French, is now in the quarters here.
Yeah, it's good to see her back on track, because that was a tough loss against Clijsters. And Agassi, by the way, has just gotten underway, and sure enough, he's broken the first game.
So the hold for Sampras to start the 3rd set.
First game, 3rd set.
Looking at the match update.
Well, that's certainly where you want to be if you're Sampras. That first serve percentage. You've talked about the fact he's had to serve his way out of trouble.
John, you look at the unforced errors. Federer has made only 15 in the whole match, but 4 of them came in that last game of the 2nd set.
And 9, and then the 9 of the other, there was 4, so that's 11, and I think 9 of the other 11 were the returns. He kept missing on break point.
love.
You know, John, your feelings about Davis Cup are well known, but I think when I look at Roger Federer, what a great statement it is about what Davis Cup can do. His biggest matches of his career so far, and by winning, the presence he brings to this match. And he is not affected at all by the circumstances here.
But also what it could be if we had all our best guys. That's the part that we can't forget about. They've got to do something about the calendar. I mean, this is what could be the equivalent of our Ryder Cup, the way they have in golf. You get to represent your country, which it should be a great one. Change the format, change the schedule. I mean, as an example, when Spain won it for the first time in 100 years, they've had the Davis Cup 100 years, the first time they ever won it, they're out of it 2 months later. Now, that ought to tell you right away that it's not a lot of time to enjoy that accomplishment.
But you mentioned, what would Andy Roddick be like a year from now? Suppose he has the kind of Davis Cup success Federer's had.
Well, you run around a backhand, you leave the court open. That's what happened with Federer there. Ted, I'm glad you asked that, because we're going to have that opportunity to see when Roddick plays, I'm sure, singles for the United States of America 2 weeks after the U.S. Open.
Trying to keep the U.S. in the world group. Federer holds for 1-all right now. The United States Davis Cup. The best hope's going to be Andy Roddick. Sampras and Agassi have pretty much said that's not going to be part of their future.
Maybe a Taylor Dent if he can show the form he showed against Leighton Hewitt in the second round here. He's a big hitter. There's another guy. Marty Fish is someone who made the main draw. He's a young kid with some talent. Gamble is the one who really had a huge disappointment here. After getting to the quarters and playing a good match against Pete Sampras, turning around and losing in the first round to Chris Woodruff this year.
Up 2 sets to 1.
Just his hope now is don't play me against Woodruff in a major. I've lost Australia. I've lost in the Wimbledon. Please don't make me play him first round in the Open. Federer, by the way, the Switzerland is out. They lost in April in the quarters to France. In actually a titanic match. I think that that tie had some of the. We should get that and put that up on the screen. How close those matches were. I mean, there were some monumental 5-setters. See, I wanted to give John McGinnis, our producer, something to do when this.
30-15.
That's why research loves you so much,
right.
John.
It's good, but it keeps everyone on their toes. Well,
32.
If you were wondering how good Federer is, you're not wondering anymore. But I will give you his 2 results. France beat Switzerland 3-2. He actually lost to Nicolas Escudé the first match. Beat Arnaud Clément on the final day.
George Bastel, I know, played the deciding match for Switzerland.
And
I won't say it was against Escudé.
Yeah, in the poor match, he lost a long 5-setter to Escudé. So. The newest French hero. Had a pretty good Davis Cup team, France, too, with Grosjean.
30-14.
Escudé, Clément. Well, and we're talking about Davis Cup. Here it is again. Federer's 0 for 9 so far. Can he break the ice? Get a break early in this third set. Didn't look like the serve he was throwing at Barry Cowan, did it?
No, no. Is that just pure instinct when, like in that case, Pete lets that ball go by on facing break point?
It's just from growing up and starting at such a young age and watching literally millions of balls go by and having this sense of knowing when it's going to go out.
Let for serve.
And that's a decision that's made very, very quickly. Whether there's a spin that will take it long, whether it's the power, whether the wind that's out there. I mean, there's a lot of factors to consider, although today is an excellent day to play tennis. Very calm out there. Not too hot, some good humidity, work up a nice lather.
Well, Sampras did not like the let call, which again is electronic here on his first serve in that sequence. Ends up doubling, and now another break point. good by Federer. And finally, on his 11th chance, he breaks to take the edge in this third set.
Gewonnene Punkte beim Aufschlag. So, kann er dieses Break transportieren, der gute Roger Federer.
$15 love. $15 all.
Früh genommen mit der Vorhand diesen Aufschlag des Schweizers.
First serve. $15-30.
Der hätte gepasst, wenn
32.
das jetzt dann nicht ein bisschen zu hoch gewesen wäre. Aber der passt genau. Maß genommen. Nicht tief genug. Der Volley von Federer. Und das prompte Rebreak ist möglich.
At the All England Lawn Tennis Club, that is Sampras having his serve broken. Now he's trying to get it back. And it is out. Sampras. Boy, that is huge for Pete Sampras. The emotional lift that Federer could get from breaking his serve.
2 games all.
Lost right away.
Well, if you study the stats, like people like Leo 11 right next to us love to do, the odds are that the most likely time to break is actually right after you've been broken, because your opponent has a tendency to let down a little bit. You get a little anxious because you just realize you blew one. And sure enough, Sampras comes right back. I just don't like seeing Federer staying back there on that second serve so much.
And the amazing thing is that Leo has told me in his spectacular tennis career that never happened to him.
How long again was his career? But that never happened. Bad footwork from Federer there, just flat-footed, just frustrated. He's worked so hard to get this break. Turns around, gives it right back. Keep the spirits up. It is a set all after all, 2-all against a 7-time Wimbledon champion.
$40 love.
Leighton Hewitt, by the way, has rebounded to win the first set.
40-15.
Nicholas Escudé 6-4, just getting underway in the second.
What a day of tennis. Here in London, Andre Agassi just starting, and our Tim is still to play. Tim Henman against Todd Martin.
prime time. Oh. Feathery touch square.
How about the movement? To run this ball down?
Improvisation, hustle.
40-30.
This is the nicest of all there.
And there's the big serve by Sampras to put the game away. Back live, center court, Wimbledon. This literally is the best seat in the house. We often have a chance to sit at our little bunker here, but what a day today to be able to watch spectacular tennis here in center court and look around the grounds and see champions playing everywhere.
This is incredible. Spectacular weather. The Monday where everyone gets on the court. We've got plenty to go. We have a highly entertaining match here, Ted. We've got the most beautiful scene in the world, Wimbledon center court. We had our jackets and tie on, and that was very nice.
I brought umbrellas with me to London this year. What a fool. Somebody told me it rains here.
Just give it a couple days.
Now this match nearly 2 hours old now, and Federer has established, if there were any doubts in anyone's mind, that he's not a pretender. He's a contender.
Well, people knew that. People knew that. Anyone that knows anything about tennis knew he was a force to be reckoned with. Now, whether it's going to happen today, that remains to be seen.
15 all.
On that on camera, did we see my new assistant, Sean McEnroe? Or?
I think he was jumping up and down.
He was trying to get in as much as he was leaning way to his right.
Sean is fresh from the Joe Namath football
That's
camp.
right. Can you believe that? The little guy survived it. Doesn't a kid hate, by the way, when you as a parent you say you're the little guy? I just realized that as I said it.
Okay, there's an easy game for Federer for 3 all.
3 games over, third set.
You look at Federer, John, and thinking about size, and I mean, he has the build, the physique. You look at this guy, you think this is a future champion.
I'd be surprised. I'm going to say this right now. I'd be surprised if he doesn't win a couple majors.
There was a phenomenal streak that we had a chance to witness much of.
15 love.
This is a phenomenal play, by the way. But of course, we've seen this, what, about 1 million times with Sampras?
Ivan Lendl reached the finals of the U.S. Open for 8 consecutive years. Just an extraordinary achievement.
And now you're going to want me to congratulate him about being put in the Hall of Fame next
No, you
year,
already
too?
did that. But well, as I said, that streak was ended
15 all.
in the 1990 quarterfinals of the U.S. Open by a 19-year-old named Pete Sampras.
So you're saying Federer's going to win this, huh?
Well,
and go on to a career like Sampras. That's quite a statement. Considering there's Never has a male player even gotten to the semifinals here at Wimbledon. It's be a tall task for old Roger.
How well is he returning today, Federer? I mean, you've seen Agassi play return beautifully against Pete here in the past.
Any guy that goes out there and gets 10, 11 chances in 2.5 sets against Pete Sampras is returning well. And if it wasn't for the fact that Sampras does up the ante when he's down break point, and you're human, you can't help but get tighter, he would have had 2 or 3 more breaks. There's no place to serve Federer. I mean, he looks to me just about as good off both sides. And he can hit a flat ball, and he can slice it, and he can hit over it. Like there, that is classic Federer. He chipped the backhand here down low. Sampras did well there, but this adjustment there, flicking the ball like that on the full run up the line. Come on, Roger.
Well, you're seeing from Pete so far today far more of the head and the shoulders dropping, as if to say, I can't believe that.
And we should point out this is the best Pete's played in the tournament. That's the only time, because he's tight, he has a tendency to overhit, which is, it's hard not to do, quite honestly.
Left for serve.
You pointed out a second or 10 little ways back. It's such a good one. It gets so quiet.
Advantage, Sampras.
Even here in the booth, you feel you have to breathe softly.
Sort of reminds you of the U.S. Open, doesn't it?
Game Sampras.
Well, again, Sampras pulls the game out on his serve. Pete Sampras walking several rackets over. John, is that to get them restrung?
You better believe it is. You want some fresh ones in case this goes with 4th and 5th set. That's why he pays these stringers the big bucks. They got to be on call day and night.
Now, would he be changing tension in the middle of a match? Would that be
That's a possibility.
It's a strategy?
I mean, when he goes out on the court, he's got about 8 freshly strung rackets. And sometimes, if he feels like it's more humid than he expected it to be, or the ball's flying more quickly, he'll turn around, give a couple to Mr. Anacone, his coach, or someone else who will rush it over to him. Then they run down and get it to the stringer. Oh, that would have been a nice way to end it. See, he wanted to end it with a flourish here, but probably would have been better off just blocking it cross court for a winner. Instead, he loses the point. You know, and also Pete is one of those guys, and there's a host of others now, started by the man you just mentioned, Ivan Lendl, which at the end of 7 games or 9, they break out a new one. Sampras goes through, I think, and I see Paul Anacone right there picking up those rackets in the back. See, Pete, can't you let me just kick back in the player's box with your wife? I'll be quiet. I'm a mellow guy and watch this tennis. This guy could win with virtually any tension. Players get very finicky. See, now that they can afford it, they go through 800 sets of stud a year.
But it does point out an interesting difference between tennis and the team sports that many fans would be familiar with. There's no equipment people or assistants basically there to help. The player has to have his own coach or his own assistant to run and restring those rackets.
That's true, but they have stringers on the grounds, and there's other guys that are off in a house staying nearby.
Love 15.
That's part of the coach's resume. That's where both players want to hit returns, force their opponent to hit up, which is what Federer did there.
And a quick first set win for Andre Agassi over Kiefer.
15-all.
Andre, if he wins that match, would play the winner of the Hewitt-Escudé match.
Who now finds himself down 3-love in the second after winning the first Hewitt. Hit that high as a volleyer.
30-15.
Gives you a couple of options. You can wait on your opponent, see where he is. Pete knows these grass courts all too well. It's a little bit closer than he would have wanted. He knows it's not going to come up too high. Puts a little spin on it. Up 35.
$40-15.
This is where they should let these fans keep that souvenir.
I have a hard time, John, thinking that there have been many matches for Pete during his great run at Wimbledon where he's had to have as many difficult games on his serve.
Certainly not recently. I mean, you'd have to think early on before he had built up this confidence. When you go through, what was it, 120, 130 games without losing serve. Ball's going to float long, and Federer's making him work again. And there's a lot of things that you think when you look at Sampras now. Has he let down after finally breaking that Grand Slam 13, winning his 13th major? Has he let down a little because he got married? Has he let down a little or not as confident because he came into this tournament only 15-10? Doesn't look to be as dominant as he normally has been in the past, but then again, he's playing a guy who's going to be, and already is, a very good player. He's going to be a great player.
And has a huge chance here.
Federer.
There's no question, this is the most important point for Sampras in this match. Federer would serve for the set if he can break.
And Federer, too.
No, Sampras had it and missed it. And now Roger Federer will serve for a 2-1 lead. Center court Wimbledon, there's a growing feeling that something special may be brewing here today. Roger Federer just getting that serve back, John.
Well, you know how he loves to hit that scissor kick where he pulls his Kobe Bryant routine? Well, the problem with that is when it gets to be a position where you're not sure whether you should do it or not, a bigger point, it looked like he wasn't quite sure what he was going to do.
Well, Sampras broken twice in the set. That's extraordinary. The first time he broke back.
Well, chip right to the feet. Remember Sampras in his earlier days hit a lot of backhand passing shots.
Let for serve. Fifteen all. Thirty, 15.
Just like that, Roger Federer has 2 points to go, 2 sets to 1 up against the defending champ, 4-time defending champ, 7-time Wimbledon winner.
Game at 30.
And he does it with an ace. And very quickly, Roger Federer takes the third set.